of course, is coach. So could be a little while longer, but instead of having the music on, I'm sure you guys would prefer some gameplay instead. Some warm up, keep yourselves entertained and interesting. Plus, it means that you guys can see roughly when we're about to go live. So I'm just gonna put on the warm up, just chill with you guys as much as possible. And Hizakia, to answer your question, would I prefer to cast Dust 2 for 8 hours with Auto Director or Nuke? I think I'd have to go with Nuke. I don't know if I'm alone on this, right? But I don't enjoy watching Nuke very much. Like, I love casting, of course, but Dust 2, it's such a boring map to me to watch. Whereas Nuke still has some interesting qualities to it. I would definitely say it needs a bit of more work. I don't think that's really something that many people would disagree with, but Dust 2 I just don't find that interesting. Jid, what do you think about Team Martin winning the lawsuit? Very sad. If I wouldn't get sued, I'd backhand slap that guy. Dust 2's best to watch. Pioneer, I will have to politely disagree with you, good sir. What's up, Tiger? What do you think about the new Inferno? I think it looks really cool, actually. I'm happy with how it looks. Inferno, I'd say my favourite two maps to play were Overpass. Well, still is Overpass, and Inferno, before it got taken away. Like, I can understand why Inferno needed some work. I totally get that, no doubting it. But I miss Inferno a great deal, so I can't wait till that comes back into the pool again. But it looks like we're live, guys. So enough about me and my scrubby thoughts and opinions. The reason we're all here is to watch Fnatic Heroic for the second map. If you just joined us and you're curious how the first map went, it was Cobblestone, and Fnatic came back from quite the deficit of 12-7 to actually win 16-14 in the end. So breaking the hearts of Heroic, are going to have to mentally reset now and not let that previous disappointment affect their judgment here into this one. Venton is looking like a dead man, and it's going to be Valde who puts the final bullet in. In fact, the only bullet in, lands him in the headshot. And Heroic have dropped quite a bit, though, since that first pick. So Fnatic will get the plant onto A, and are already funneling Olof through Connector. He's going to come around the back of Freeze, so needs to be very careful. Valden, meanwhile, has gone hunting for some scraps. And he's going to get executed point blank range. That's going to leave a mark. Dennis wrecks him, leaving Glaive with it all to do by himself. Oh, what a shot that is onto Dennis. I was about to say, any kills from here would be pretty impressive. That's all it's going to get, though. But, I mean, that was raising the heart rate a little bit. In-game sound is off. Refresh your stream, boys. It's an issue on Twitch. Seems to happen every single time I cast here. Refresh your stream. Refresh your browser, and you'll be sorted. Trust me. That's why it's fine for some people and not for others, because some people connected recently, others didn't. I don't know why it happens, I don't know how it works, but refresh. We'll fix it. All off point blank range, we'll put down Modi and Fnatic starting in a much better vein of form than they did on Cobblestone, while they went 0-4 behind. There is simply nothing the CTs can do to counteract this push, and Fnatic taking 0 casualties. Fresh, and he wasn't lying. It's good now. Yes, sir. Yeah, I realise it's a bit derpy for some people, and for some people it's fine. So don't worry, easy fix. We still have the issue, refresh, and they'll be good to go. Full USPs for Heroic. So Fnatic will be firm favourites to take the 3-0. Just can't see how there's any windows back into this. I suppose that's one way, is for Dennis to miss a whole bunch of bullets and die. But unfortunately, the grenades are going to be firing straight back in to the faces of the CTs, and they weren't able to get their hands on the weapon anyway, so it's all well and good. It's a bit of a red face moment for Dennis. Okay then. It seems like Olaf's decided to not let himself get into a 5 for 19 kind of scoreline. He's just going to go ham in the early stages here. Rack up the kills, 3-0. Good old Kobe. First buy for Heroic. We'll see Freeze with the AWP. He really did struggle though, I think it's safe to say, on Cobblestone with the AWP. Him alongside Olaf with the two bottom fraggers for most of the map. There's Glaive though through the smoke. You see that smoke land? It's definitely worthwhile just tapping through with the M4A4. Twist will get the kill, but loses 97 of his health in the process. And these grenades are just raining down on Valdo, who's going to be pushing through the smoke. We'll get the reward for his aggression. Then falls down instantly afterwards, courtesy of Benton. Meanwhile, more spray through the smoke for Valdo's going to yield nothing in return. 2 on 3, minute and 15 to play with, and down goes Benton, leaving Olaf with the pretty crazy task of a 1 on 3, and he's also at about a third of his health. Wow. Okay, lands that shot, putting down Freeze in his place, who actually had the upper hand, had the positional advantage. Olaf, if he landed that shot, it would have been disgusting. Still a lot of time to play with. Gets caught with his pants down. Heroic will pick up their first round of train. Solid economy for Fnatic. It's just Dennis that's low as a result of dying in that round against the USPs. So he's down $150. I believe someone dropped the AK across to him. I'm now curious who it was. Switch the AK, please, Dennis. Dennis, please. Oh, wow. The Glock block is real. Either way, while we're focusing on Dennis, there was 2-player stack up in Ivy. Shooting out the windows. Pretty standard for the terrorists, making sure that CTs don't know when that execute's going to be coming at them later on. If it does come in, of course it could be reverse psychology as well. They have no intention of doing that, and we can see from Fnatic's positioning that it's going to be the fast B hit instead, which is certainly the weaker of the sites. It was Modi by himself, and you can see he's not going to try and trade blows with Fnatic. Instead he backs away, waits for the rest of the cavalry to arrive, the reinforcements to yield on in, and there's Glaive for the spray, but look at how many players for Heroic are super low. 4 of them find themselves a couple bullets away from death. It's just Snappy who's healthy. Meanwhile, Fnatic are looking pretty good on their health. They don't have too many grenades, but they're going to just use the raw fragging power. Modi comes back with a kill of his own, but the CTs are dropping, and now Snappy round the back of them. Seemingly caught in 2 minds as to what to do there, but does land the shot onto Dennis. He's going to be continuing his way through. He does have full grenades, and now it's a 1-on-1. He's just going to go for the full-on defuse. 4 seconds, 3. Is Twist even going to peek this too? He's going to be so close, but he's got the defuse in the smoke. Twist will put him down afterwards. But Heroic have got the round going their way. The problem for them, though, is they're not out of the woods, because they lost all their players and their economy is in a really bad way. So it will be glass cannon or it will be a couple UMPs with a FAMAS, but the round goes their way. Now Twist must be livid. So it's looking so good for Fnatic. Play the mind games, they get onto the site, it's looking great. The retake is in dire straits with frags being exchanged in Fnatic's favour. But then Snappy, with the big cojones, just goes for the defuse in the smoke. Heroic. This time have 2 players on B. It'll be Modi and Freeze. Modi actually playing fairly aggressively towards the box halls. There's Dennis and Twist that could be his adversaries up there. But for now, he's actually holding position. He has just heard the molly go out, so he's going to go for the peek. This could be perfect timing. Twist is on the retreat and does just about scamper away. So information has been gathered. Now this allows Molly to try and push his way in through to Pop Dog. And now the CTs know they can stack on the A sides. They're going to have 4 players strong. In this rectangle formation, you can see. And Freeze will deliver the first fatal blow. But this is where Molly's rotation comes to fruition with 2 kills. Glaive got 2 Molly kills as well, by the way. In amongst all that mayhem. On the Ivy side, and Heroic picked up a second AWP, so their buy is now very much bolstered. Fnatic into... this could be a deco, actually. Well, I say deco. They've got some Kevlars in there as well, so it's not a full-on eco by any stretch of the imagination. Dennis is actually down to $950 too, so it's a bit rough for him. 3 rounds of round loss bonus, though, so he will be able to buy an AK into the next round. So, likely, I should say. More than certainly doesn't really make sense, does it? So, GG. Good Inglando. Freeze tees off. Molly did eat quite a bit of damage, though, onto the Desert Eagle dueling Fnatic. The spray's on point through the smoke. Puts down Lecro. And now they can force their attentions on to cleaning up the rest of B. Benton's here. There's the first frag. He's going to have to find 4 more players to clutch this. And he's unable to do so. It was a big ask, and unfortunately not up to the task. 4-3, Heroic will take the lead after a super shaky start. So 4 rounds in a row now to the Danes. Where am I from? From England. Here come Fnatic back into a buy. Dennis without any grenades as a result of his poor economy. Oh, look at this aggression, though. Fnatic are straight through, up into the faces. And that will see Snappy get himself the frag. Twist, in the meanwhile, with the AK-47, puts down the spray. And now this funnels off Modi to coming through. Connect. There's a team kill. Lecro takes down Olaf. What was that all about? Didn't quite catch that, but I assume it was just some spray through the smoke, which went slightly awry. You can see the importance and the impact of what that team kill has into this round. Lecro is going to try and make amends, though. Bringing it back to a 2-on-2. The tag team partnership of Lecro and Dennis face off against Freeze and Modi. Freeze with a pretty decent positional advantage, but is very low on health. So if he misses his chance, the likelihood is he'll be killed, but he's not going to miss just yet. Oh, Lecro. He is so low on health, just down to 5. Surely there's no way back into this round for Fnatic now. Both the CTs are pretty low themselves. Oh, Freeze gets bested from Lecro. I've got to say, Freeze's reaction is not quite on point there. I'm very surprised that he didn't pull the trigger. He saw that shoulder from a mile off. He's just showing again he's not quite on form today. But look at Modi's position here. This is a perfect rotation. And he's going to get the reward. Nicely done. Heroic get dug out of a ditch. But again, they lose 4 players. And again, they're going to be digging deep into their back pockets. They have the funds to support this for now, but it's more the future that you're looking at. Fnatic can get a buy. Not going to be ideal. Won't include an AWP. That's very aggressive with the flashbang. He's able to get on the left-hand side of Ivy from his perspective, but it costs him so much health, it's not really worthwhile. Modi with the spray finally gets his man into Olaf, and will have to start to back away. Freeze is going to put down the cover fire. But it will be a plant, so Fnatic, we've been here before. Last time was under much more favourable positions for Fnatic, and they lost it. Courtesy of a defuse through the smoke, but Lecro with a quick fire 2 frag. He's going to do some serious work, but look at this. Valda's going to about to get rotated on from Benton. Not expecting that. Last 2 remaining Swedes are very low on health. Twist 19, Lecro 12. And Valda is going to tap the defuse and bring out the terrorist. Misses out on the spray. Unbeknownst to him, he could just hold this. He's going for it now. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh, we're going to have deja vu. Fnatic not like this. They've lost it. Valda reading this situation to perfection. And for the second time Heroic have got a defuse while terrorists are still alive. That's got to sting. Again, they lose all the players. Again, they're digging deep into their back pockets for replenishing weapons. But they're getting the rounds where it counts. It's going to be frustrating for Fnatic, though, because on another day, they know they could be 6-3 in the lead. Quite honestly. That flash into the peak is as crisp an execute as you could ask for. That is perfect timing. Dennis had no chance. He just got rocked. He just got bodied, courtesy of Heroic. The snowstorm descended, completely blinded, put out of his misery, courtesy of Valda. Nicely done. Glaive gets put down, hammered by Twist's AWP. This is something that we haven't seen too much on the T side thus far for Fnatic. Benton hopping around, be put down courtesy of Freeze, and once again Heroic have the player advantage. We've seen these subside though and get out of control. But look at this, Twist taking point with the AWP. Super aggressive play, but it's going to be Valds coming around from the backside. Must know that some players through the smoke, doesn't want to give his position away. And meanwhile, Snappy's going to get picked off. Valda needs to start to act very shortly. He's going to be biding his time, waiting like a coiled viper, ready to strike. But in the meanwhile, how many of his players are going to get taken down before he's going to do something for his team? He actually hasn't moved in. He's playing this one so passively. Lacro's going to go for the plant. And that proves that patience, ladies and gentlemen, is a virtue. Because Valda waited for so long, but took the bomb down. And that should be the round going the way of the CTs. And indeed it will be. Freeze with 2 in the end, Valda with 2. 7-3. If you're having issues with the stream lagging or audio delay, refresh the stream, guys. So, pause comes in. Fnatic. It's not been a case of them not getting onto the site and not getting plants down. I mean, we've seen them get 2 of them. They've come very close apart from that. But interestingly enough, the 2 times they have got the bomb planted, they've been defused, while Fnatic members have still been alive. So it hasn't been the best Counter-Strike in terms of executes. But it's certainly been entertaining. And Fnatic currently trailing by 4 rounds. I don't think that's necessarily a fair representation of how close this map has been, though. On another day, it could easily be a 5-5 sort of scoreline. Fnatic could be in the lead. It's just been one of those days. A hard day at the office. But Fnatic came back from a huge deficit on the first map. There's no reason to believe they couldn't on the CT side of this one. But that is 7 rounds now in a row as well to Heroic. It should be mentioned that Fnatic got the pistol and the subsequent 2 rounds after that. So Heroic have been on a bit of a tear recently, but you can see their economy is still low, even though they've got 7 rounds. And again, that just goes to show, I'll show you here how many players they've been losing. So 2 alive there, 0 after they got the defuse. That was a pretty solid round, a couple of solid rounds in a row, but apart from that, it's been very close. So you're seeing how many players the CTs are losing. Fnatic back into a buy. See if they can establish what has been gone wrong for them and see if they can correct it here. Oh, that flashbang again. It's going to be a bloodbath. Glaive's almost spoilt for choice. You could see what he was going for. Caught in 2 minds. He did a lot of damage to Ventum, but he got maybe a bit too greedy and tried to have his pudding before he finished his dinner. So unfortunate, but still, that flashbang on point. Lacro will get the upper hand onto Valda though, so for all of the early aggression that Glaive put down, it has been nullified. Molly in the meanwhile doing some work, and now that will put us back into an all-even affair. Lacro's going to try and take that away. Finally finishes off the frag onto Freeze. That was looking a little bit sketchy a couple moments there, but just back and forth constantly, leaving in Snappy in a 1-on-2. He's got the positional advantage, but he's with the first couple of shots, and Twist is going to punish him. And finally, Fnatic have broken the 7-round curse after the pause comes in. and they get the kills where it counts. And interestingly, the score is currently 7-4, but you look at those frags, very, very even. Nothing to determine between them. Again, that shows how close this has been throughout. Full USP rounds. As bare bones as is possible. Now we've seen Heroic land a couple of headshots, but not really yield anything else. So this is Fnatic's gateway back into this round and this map. Negligible damage onto Twist, just eating 13. Freeze gets domed. Dennis with the Deagle, looking for a second one. Meanwhile, Molly's going to be pushing box holes, and he will meet the wild Olofmeister with an AK. Did land the dink, though, so again, it just goes to show how good these guys are with the one-taps. Speaking of one-taps, Dennis has just got in for another couple. Padding those stats. Velda using the smoke as his ally. So, I've got to say, like, nice try by Heroic. I mean, 3 players got dinked, 3 players pretty close to dying, but ultimately it goes to show how important upgrades are. And now into this round, they will get a decent enough buy, but they're well and truly behind in terms of firepower. I mean, when you look at equipment value, it pretty much paints the picture. It obviously costs more on the CT side to get fully equipped, and still they trail by a good $7,500 in equipment value. But they're going for a buy to make sure this doesn't get into a snowball situation. The issue with this is if Lecro tees off with frags left, right, instead of 3 of them, 3 huge entry kills from Team Ain, then this buy is completely backfired. Glaive could very well fall next, and indeed should do. What a round from Lecro, though. Those entries. Spicy. And I had half a mind in the back of my mind, like, Heroic have a round advantage. Now, after this one, you assume that obviously Glaive isn't going to win from this point. How many frags can he get before falling? The answer is 2. Decent spray control, but unfortunately it's just too many players to find off against. And I was curious maybe if Heroic would go for a half buy in that previous round and then assure that they get the AWP in their hands. Now, it does surprise me a little bit on a map like Train. It's just one of those kind of situations where it's, you know, hindsight's always 2020. But now there's every chance that Fnatic could take the lead going into halftime, which never really looked likely after 7 rounds of put back-to-back from Heroic. Stacking up on HEs, all going into Team Ain. Not really doing a great deal of damage other than on Lecro. And that should be all she wrote for round 14. Ooh, close. Could get the P250 frag. He's just shooting everywhere but at Moddy. And Moddy actually walks into the fire. Can't really blame him for that. Freeze, last player left. Could get a sneaky kill onto Lecro. And potentially pick up the AK. But no, Dennis is there. 787. So for the second time in this series, Fnatic have came back from a heavy deficit to take the lead potentially. And this is all off the back of those close rounds that I was highlighting before in the pause, where you had, out of those 7 rounds that we discussed, 5 of them, Heroic either had no players left alive at the end of the round, or only had 1. So eventually that economy is going to catch up to you. And Fnatic have done their best to jump on top of those opportunities that were given across. 3-2 formation. Would surprise me if we see Freeze go more into connector as the seconds tick on by. Especially if a couple of flashes come out and the call is put through. Instead, he's going to actually go to the Ivy side. Makes sense, considering it's more of a centralized defense on the A side of the map. Moddy, meanwhile, does push right through onto box halls and gets the best of Olofmeister. So that's a key frag, and that can force the CTs to stack firmer on the A side of the map. Benton with a flash accompanying his push, will get the best of Glaive. And now it's going to be the CTs just running rampant with frags here, there, and everywhere. Twist, the last player left alive. Not for too much longer. I think Snappy just got wrecked by a teammate. Why the hell not? 8-7. Heroic will take the lead going through to the second half, but it was laboured. Far from easy. And now Fnatic on the CT side, for me, will be favourites to take this. But we shall see. We saw the importance of the economic standpoint as far as the CTs are concerned there on the first half. Heroic went from a great position to a pretty lackluster one. Can certainly happen to Fnatic too. So what do you guys reckon? Who have you got your money on? Not literally. Well, maybe literally. I personally think Fnatic should take it from this point, but do you believe in Heroic? Can you see this going 1-1? You spilled boiling coffee on yourself. That sounds quite painful. It's a lot of Fnatics. Do you have any Heroic believers? Fnatic 16-14. Right, I'm going to say this one more time until the next map. If you have sound delay, refresh your stream. Since you're Twitch, I don't know why it does it. Refresh your browser, refresh your stream, you'll be golden, you'll be good to go. Zikui, is it? Dude, I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Honestly, I'm awful with them. Heroic's super underrated. I think Heroic are a sick team, but I just feel like Fnatic on the CT side should be able to hold this. The other problem as well is, very similar to Cobblestone, the AWP can have such a huge impact on map like Train. And no disrespect to Freeze, but he hasn't been performing like incredibly as far as I'm concerned. Like, he struggled on Cobblestone, really struggled on Cobblestone. He ended up with the least amount of frags. He may have more kills here. I don't know why I just switched to third person. Why not, I guess. But I don't know how many kills he has here. It doesn't seem like he had a huge impact though on that first half. So it does worry me a little bit. Rip Dennis. What's happening right now? Warm-up. Well, I suppose it is necessarily warm-up. We've had a player that's actually like DC. I think last time it was Lecro, this time it was Dennis, but he's back. See, this is what happens when you guys are like, it's live, go live, you scrub, stop the game. This is what's happening. Players are AFKing, people running around like headless chickens. That's why we have so much downtime between laps. But I kind of assume that you guys would be happier watching this than an AFK screen with like music on. Feels good, man. Yes, mate, it's live when all the players at 8-7 have full weapons and it's a 4v5. We're definitely live right now. Make that a 3v5. As live as it gets. Right, excuse me for a second. I need Alt-Tab and it would freeze the stream. So I'm having a quick look. As some players are leaving the server, if we're switching servers or not. Let me have a look. The admins. Seems like we haven't been given any info yet, so I'll just jump back in again. Why not? You're so much better than all the other budget casters. I guess that's like a backhanded compliment, right? So you're still a budget caster, but you're an okay one. You're kind of crap, but you're not quite as crap as some other people are. Alright. Excellent. You must be the worst caster ever. Can I turn you off somehow? Yes. There's this crazy thing on your browser. If you look at the top right corner, right? There's this little button that has an X on it. If you press that button, I'll disappear. Mad, isn't it? Crazy. Brilliant. Anyway, here we go. Second half on train between Heroic and Fnatic. Let's have a look at that utility. On Cobblestone, there's just a couple of smokes, and interestingly enough, Snappy actually picked up a 5-7, so I'm curious if maybe Fnatic can follow in those footsteps. It's not likely. USPs are incredibly powerful in these pistols. They've gone for a molly and a smoke, so that suggests that we're going to see a B play. They can bank the Molotov off upper and stop the defuse from coming in, but Venton is one step ahead. He already has his smoke. And he hasn't thrown it just yet, and there's no reason to right now. Lekro is continuing to just find headshots out of nowhere. Beautiful couple one-taps. And now Snappy with the Glock is going to town. Dennis and Olaf are so low, and now they're the last two remaining CTs. It's not looking good for Fnatic. Dennis, all that remains, down he goes, and Heroic pulled it off. Decent round. Snappy with 3. Closing it out with a clenched fist. Fnatic will be back into a bye. CZ, both Twist and Olaf. It's always interesting for me to see what kind of decisions certain players make, you know, between the 5-7 and the CZ. It is like personal preference all the way. I'm still waiting for a time when they get rid of the Julies, or at least they give the option to choose between like the CZ and Julies, and then the 5-7. So you can have like both in your arsenal. I can't wait for that day. If ever, it probably isn't going to happen, is it? I'm living in a fantasy world. Because who uses the Julies, seriously? I'm waiting for loads of people in chat to say, I use the Julies, they're great pistols. Yep, of course. Heroic will not be letting up with this hyper-aggression, this ruthless aggression that they're showing onto the site. There's where the CZ will flourish. Up close. There's Deagle frag as well to Lekro. Leaving Dennis in a 1-on-3. He does have the Deagle though, and this seems to be the weapon where he really does come out swinging. We've seen this time and time again already in this series. There's the first one, but he doesn't have a kit and he's got to get a move on. The terrorists are certainly respecting Dennis. Oh my goodness, Dennis! Seriously? How do you pull off these shots consistently with a Deagle? He's not going to get the round, but he's done so much damage and he will save the AK. Sweet lord, that Deagle play was a bit sexy. I'm not going to lie. Every time you say heroic, it sounds like you say Heroic. Sick. Two Mac 10s. Looking for that sweet money. The thing is, though, you don't really see Dennis land that many frags with the rifles. Like, he doesn't get highlight-worthy plays. Put a Deagle in his hands, and suddenly it's just everybody is unsafe. That smoke may have looked a bit derpy, but he's thrown that to make sure that no CTs who are coming around from box halls can do anything. The way he threw it made it look like it was a mistake, but there's the spray through the smoke. Ripping pepperonis, and Twist is, I mean, he's doing some solid work with a P250, but it's fighting a losing battle, unfortunately. So yeah, he's just making sure that if there's any CTs that were fast pushing up ramp around the back, it couldn't be a thorn in the backside. It's unlikely going to push that smoke. Unless a young Stew, of course. So I have a bit of deja vu, guys. Cobblestone went 11-7 and then 12-7 to Heroic. And then Fnatic made the comeback of dreams. So, we've been here before. Is there going to be a couple doubts in Heroic's minds? Now, it should be mentioned that was Fnatic on the T side of Cobblestone, where Economy doesn't play quite as a pivotal role as it does on the CT side of Train. But still, we know they have that tenacity. Can Heroic finish off what they started this time around? Fnatic playing quite aggressive positions, considering that Twist is pushing up Ivy with this much time. The flashbang connects with the two separate angles for Twist to watch out for. You can see what he was going for alongside the flashbang. And that's just going to cost him his life, and Fnatic don't have much to fall back on. No kits. They've just thrown out their one smoke. And there's 45 seconds left. This is so sketchy. They're looking at someone to step up big. Dennis best pistol player on CS. I mean, that's a big claim, but he's definitely up there. I don't think there's any doubting that he is crazy with the pistols, especially the Desert Eagle. 25 seconds left. This is giving Fnatic a lifeline. It just takes a quick fire spray down, and suddenly things get very precarious. Speaking of which, Lekro is holding firm. 10 seconds left. He's going to be going in for the frag. There's the first one. Can he stop the bomb plant? No, he can't, but he has got 2 kills and is still somehow alive. But this is where the smokes are so important. Look at Freeze. Look at Snappy. Both of them have Molotovs. We're going to see a stack of Molotovs onto the site, but the frags are coming down. And there's a frag onto Valda. What is happening here, Rock? This round should have been yours. They're going to tap onto the site. This is where the Molotov gets thrown in. You can see Lekro tapping onto the site to make sure it was used sooner rather than later. And now Snappy has so many players to find and frag. It's not going to happen. And the bomb is being defused. It's close, but Venton has this. Heroic should not be losing that round. For Flaren's casting? I mean, I love me some Fiffy, but I'm pretty sure I sound nothing like for Flaren. I think we're stretching it a bit now, boys. Now that could have been the round that really just sent Fnatic out of this. Instead, Heroic onto a P250. This could be a bloodbath. Lekro, oh my goodness, he peeks around the corner. He's like, boys, I've just seen an army. Get yourself to be right now. Interestingly enough, though, with so much time left, they're not going to be rotating super fast because, of course, they could dart back towards a pop dog. But here it comes. The waterfall of terrorists. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Although, what is that? Fnatic, please. Oh, they're blocking each other's mollies. It's all gone horribly wrong. But they should still have the round, of course. A bomb plant is really all that Heroic were hoping for out this... What? Okay, no. This isn't going to happen, is it? With 3 HP, Valda? Yeah. Snappy could get his hands on an M4. It's going to get picked off beforehand. Fnatic will have the round, but again, that's such sloppy play. Heroic get 3 kills and a bomb plant out of a full-on eco. So yeah, that just happened. 11-9. Heroic have still got a couple of round buffer. As a result, the bomb plant have a very healthy buy indeed. Double up set up for Fnatic though. Twist and Olof. Lekro on B by himself, but it's going to be Twist that goes down first to the hands of Freeze. Venton, in the meanwhile, he's pushed E-Box time and time again. Hasn't really got too much out of this. Double ops still intact as Dennis will take the second one for himself. Again though, Fnatic spread a little bit thin. Molly's being trolled by toilet rolls, he's being trolled by bottles. Super slow rounds. Fnatic have the turrets in play. They don't necessarily have to push the envelope here. The problem is that when the set play comes into their eyes and they can't really see a great deal with the smokes, that's where the double up could struggle a little bit. So you feel like they probably need a pick, which is why Venton's gone looking in T main. This also does give them some info for themselves, so they can actually use one of those players to go back onto the B site with. They put both players there, so they're going for a high risk, high reward sort of round here, Fnatic. 30 seconds left. Footsteps coming in. Venton could be the key man. Landing some shots, but there's just too many players for him to find, and he is going to go down, and now it's going to be up to Olofmeister to try and fend off this push by himself. Molly's smokes, but there is a couple of gateways for him to land the frag. That's so unfortunate with the timing. As soon as he zooms out, a player goes peeking. Lekro once again finding two players. How often does this guy do it? Moddy and Freeze, do they have enough time to plant? It's going to be very close. I don't think they've got enough time. 1 second, 0, and Dennis is going to get this round by just playing Possum, by playing super passive, and keeps the AWP alive. And again, it comes down to Lekro's double spray and Olof landing the AWP shot. That's why aggressing with such low time can backfire horribly. Heroic are tripping over their own shoelaces right now. For the second consecutive map, they have a decent lead coming in. And that lead is being demolished. Olof with 2. That's all he's good for in this round, but that's probably going to be enough. Meanwhile, Heroic are going in with Freeze. They nearly line up for him. $11-all from 11-7. So yeah, Lekro 23-14. Top fragging by considerable margin on both teams. For Heroic, pretty close actually, only a 6-round difference, whereas on Fnatic there's a 13. I say round difference, kill difference of course. I'm a scrub. That nade though. So this could see Fnatic jumping in the lead again, which will be the first time we've seen them in the lead since they were 3-0 up after the first pistol. Kills all across the map, and it doesn't look like Heroic will get a single one out of this unless Snappy can land some tasty 1-digs. And Pop Dog just waiting up, peeking at where Venton could be pushing soon. Fnatic will take the 12-11 lead, and keeping all 5 players alive just bolsters their economy nicely. They will have buys upcoming, even if they were to get completely rinsed in this next round. You're a lovely British man, not a scrub. Can I be both at the same time? Carl Pilkington casting. Brilliant. Really? Bloody hell. Lekro with the UMP, interesting enough, they've put him by himself on B with their weakest weapon. They've got 2 players that can quickly get through and connector, but the issue here is that if Lekro was to get pushed aggressively, that could be all she wrote. Olofmeister, meanwhile, though, will get the better of Freeze, who comes out of team main. And now this is where Lekro's really going to struggle. You can see him flash time and time again. Glaive with the upper hand, point blank range, and Heroic are just going to be dropping. Surely after this, Dennis is doing the work. The bomb gets planted. Here comes Olof around the side, though. Connecting the shot. Twist is good for another one, leaving Moddy. And it's not as if he has a molly here either. He has to go for this. He has to go aggressively. And it's not going to happen. Fnatic with yet another one. This is going to be 6 rounds in a row. And Heroic again, they seem to just have massive choke issues towards the finish line. What do you think about Danish choke? It must be the DNA, man. Can you put your mic a little bit lower? I'll move the mic away a little bit, how about that? another kill going the way of Fnatic. We haven't really seen Fnatic do that so far. Lacro not fully pushing through, using the rail and the smoke to his advantage. It'll be Muddy that falls, and Muddy's typically been the guy that's got out first, lurking. So again, that does definitely cut down Heroic's prowess a little bit more. This is where, you know, I said before as well that Freeze hasn't been having the greatest series of his life. And this is, I think, where it hurts. We're not really seeing him have too much of a say in this one. Twisted the double spray, landing both headshots on 19 health. Dennis in the meanwhile, and Venton put down Freeze and Snapbeat, and I mean, you've seen the difference that Twist is having as opposed to Freeze right now. He's 13 and 20. Twist is 24 and 11. The primary uppers for their teams, of course. Olaf is taking the up time and time again, but as I say that, he's just switched across to Lekro, which I assume is purely based on spawn. Indeed it is, so Lekro likely going to be peeking up Boxhalls. I'm going to keep on board with him and see if he gets anything done here. Could very well take down Moddy, who is pushing up right now. Moddy must be hating his life. He's like, okay, I'm rage quitting. See you later, boys. Last 2 rounds, he's got wrecked first from aggressive peaks from Fnatic. He's like, yeah, I'm done. See you boys later. And so is Valda. Rage quitting. Throwing his keyboard and mouse out the window. He's done. They could still get a plant here through the smoke. Twist in the meanwhile for the spray. Snappy and Glaive to try and salvage a desperate round. Snappy is going to get the 1 kill. Not quite tapped out from the M4A1S, courtesy of Lacro, who will go back in for seconds. Already picked up 2 this round. We'll get a 3rd. And that will be 15 to 11. It's hard to see how we'll come back from this. A flurry of rounds. 8 in total. When it rains, it pours for Fnatic, it seems. They have dry spells, they have droughts, but then they just turn it on. Shift through the gears. Heroic have picked up no rifle rounds, it should be mentioned here on their T side. They got the first 3. Since then, it's been one-way traffic. They've came close a few times, but just to add insult to injury, we got the auto sniper. The emo maker. And Dennis is going to go down. Leaves Lekro with the pretty horrific task of holding off the site by himself. And he's on upper. He's about to get aggressed on by Freeze. He's keeping himself alive long enough, though. And what's interesting here is because he was alive, it's forced the plant in an unorthodox position. So I'm curious how this is going to affect the CTs, actually, on their retake. Heroic could very well pick up their first rifle round on the T side. When it really counts. Just at the end. Nice shot, Olafmeister, putting Snappy down in his place. And now Moddy, close range. He is going to get the kill finally. Heroic pick up a 12th. Better late than never. But Fnatic's economy in such a place they can afford to buy easily. And they can buy next round too. They've got plenty of funds. NA spray, Kappa. Nah, it's no problem. No problem. Auto director, just, you know, don't catch any of the kills. Definitely not requested or recommended at all. So pretty much just a bloodbath up Ivy sees Fnatic take a 2-player advantage, firmly going in their favour, with Twist, Dennis and Olaf all picking up kills for themselves. And Heroic could not be any more isolated from one another if they tried. Complete opposite sides of the map. It's Snappy who has the bomb, still on the Ivy side. And now he is the last remaining player by himself. Now, UK spray would be an insult. That's too much of an insult. That would hurt the feels too much. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. 50 seconds left. Snappy is going to have to try and play the fact that he is unknown. Well, I was about to say, he can maybe sneak his way onto the site and make some shenanigans happen, but it's not going to happen there. Heroic Second map in a row, started so well, ended so poorly. Fnatic will take the 2-0 today, and that will leapfrog them across to the top 4 positions. Good series for them, especially seeing as Heroic have been stepping up their game lately. They've been looking pretty good. Freeze had a poor series, I think it's safe to say. Certainly didn't help matters for his team. But that's going to do it for the first couple of maps, guys. Next up, as you can see,